everybody. Welcome back to another great edition of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Let's check out the questions you have today. Here we go. Okay, question number 1. Does the Trump family have a family group text where you send memes and down-to-earth text? I really would love to know what you mean by down-to-earth text. Yes, we do have a family text. And sometimes the information passed back and forth is very funny if we don't say so ourselves. I'm sure someone will probably try and subpoena all of our phones now to see, God forbid, what the Trump family is texting back and forth. It is all very benign and funny and probably looks very similar to your family group text. So yeah, imagine that. We got one as well. That's how it goes. All right. Next question. Oh, this is a good one. Are you as dumb in person? Actually, I think that if you met me in person, you'd find that maybe I'm less dumb than here. And I'm going to also guess that you wouldn't ask me a stupid question like that if we were in person, because I'm going to guess you'd probably run around a corner and look at me from a distance because you'd be terrified of what I might physically do to you. Not that I would even to, because I wouldn't have to resort to anything physical. I think it could take you down just verbally. So try me next time you see me in person. Come at me and let's see how it goes. All right, great. Thanks for the question. Okay, next question. Do you believe that Vivek Ramaswamy would be a really great VP for your father-in-law after he wins his 3rd straight nomination? This is an interesting question. I like how you phrased it. Do I believe he would be a really great VP? I like Vivek. I love the way he took it to him over at CNN, didn't back down. I've done quite a few interviews where he's been a part of them. We did a whole special series together on Fox back in the day. And I've always found him to be incredibly smart, articulate, and obviously can make some strong points. As to the VP, first of all, yes, I agree with you. I think Donald Trump will for sure secure a 3rd nomination as the Republican nominee for president of the United States. I also believe he will then go on to win as our 47th president. But we do have a lot of really good options on the Republican side. I think Vivek could be a possible contender. Who knows? There's a lot out there in our field. And you contrast that, by the way, with the Democrats and the lack of any talent whatsoever on their side of the aisle. So Godspeed to them. Shout out from over here on the Republican side. We got a lot of good things going. Can't say the same for you guys. Okay, next question. Okay, do you think your parents named you Lara because of the popular heroine in the book and movie Dr. Zhivago? The movie soundtrack, Lara's theme was quite popular with my parents. Well, funny you should ask. Yes, I was named after the movie Dr. Zhivago. The main character in the movie is a woman. Her name is actually Larissa, and it's shortened to Lara, L-A-R-A. There is a beautiful song, Lara's Theme. And when I was a kid, my parents insisted that I watch Dr. Zhivago, a movie shot in the 60s. And now with my kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I'm going to do this sort of thing to them where I'm going to insist that they watch a movie from sort of my time growing up, maybe when I was like in my 20s and it was like a very popular movie. My kids will watch it and say, this is the oldest, weirdest movie ever. That said, I did appreciate the entire plot of the movie Dr. Zhivago, supposed to take place during the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Some very beautiful scenery in the Russian countryside covered in snow. But yes, that is where I got my name. And a lot of times you say Dr. Zhivago to anyone under the age of, 65, and they have no idea what you're talking about. So I always go with Lara Croft Tomb Raider if people need to know how to pronounce my name, but from Dr. Zhivago. Okay, thank you for the question. Next question. What is your favorite song? Oh my gosh. I mean, does everybody have just one? Oof, this is like the hardest question ever. I have different songs that I get into at different times, different genres of music too. I'll go anywhere from country to rap to R&B to pop. I go all around. I mean, I like everything from the Beatles to, you know, my son is obsessed with Ava Max right now, and so we listen to a lot of that in my car, and Avicii. So we do it all. But if you had to pin me down and say, what song have I probably listened to a million times and I never get tired of listening to it, I'm going with Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. It's an oldie but a goodie. There have been a lot of new remakes of that song, and I'm here for all of them. So let me know if there's something new I need to hear about with regard to I Want to Dance with Somebody, because that's probably one of my faves. All right, next question. How can people like us who live in deep blue areas, Chicago, oh, bless your hearts, have an impact on the re-election of President Trump? First of all, everyone across the country should be involved. I mean, just of course in the re-election of Donald Trump, but think about locally. Think about going to try to join your local school board and run for a position there. That's how we're going to make changes across America. We have to start small and then work our way out, because what's happening in your local community is impacting you, is impacting the kids who go to the schools in those communities. Think about running for city council or something, or just getting involved locally, you know, at different town halls and that sort of thing. I think that's always a great thing. Now, of course, you do too much of that, and Joe Biden will label you as a domestic terrorist. Don't dare go to too many school board meetings and speak out. But that's always a great thing. Now, as it relates to reelecting my father-in-law, we would love to have you volunteer. There are a plethora of ways that you could volunteer for the Trump campaign. You go to donaldjtrump.com. There will be a tab that says volunteer there, I believe, and you can sign up to volunteer, be a poll watcher on election day. We're going to have a lot of events going on between now and November of 2024. We would love for you to help out with those. We need people door knocking. We need people going out there and where it's legal, ballot harvesting, because we have to do this differently this time around if we think we have any chance of beating the Democrats. We got to play their same game. We've got to play it better, though. So many ways to get involved. Please come join us. We would absolutely love the help. And, you know, we got to do it for America. There's no other option. Okay. Next question. Is China our ally, and do they have the right to have police stations here? Nope, they are not our ally. They are working overtime to try and overtake us as the world's superpower, as the leaders of the world. They've been playing chess for a long time, and we've been playing checkers here in America, and we have had our eye off the ball as it relates to China for a long time. Of course, I give my father-in-law a lot of credit for being one of the first people to call out China and say, look at what they're doing. Look how they're stealing our intellectual property. Look how they're stealing all the manufacturing. Don't forget back to COVID. Everything we needed was made in China. And how big of a disaster was that for us here in the United States? They're sending spy balloons over our country. And yes, you pointed out the police stations. Let me tell you what these are. In case you missed one of our previous episodes of The Right View, China has throughout this country and throughout the world in a variety of different places, people from China sent by the Communist Chinese Party to America, to Canada, to all different countries around the world. And their job is to make sure that any Chinese dissenters, meaning any former Chinese citizens who are now citizens of perhaps the United States, do not say anything disparaging or give up any secrets about China while they're here in America. And that is their job. And I mean, there are a whole lot of different ways that they enforce that sort of thing. I'm sure you can only imagine. No, I do not believe they have the right to intimidate people, to threaten people, to scare people, to God knows what to people. I think it's pretty bad. They just closed one down recently in Manhattan, but they were reported to be throughout the United States, all over our country. It's a terrible thing, but I think it's the reason we need to ensure that we have a strong leader here in America. You wonder Do we have that right now? I think we all know the answer is absolutely not. Why is it that Joe Biden seems to let China just get away with everything? Could it be the millions of dollars that the Biden family has received from China? I don't know. Is it the fact that Hunter Biden's artwork has all been bought by who? Chinese buyers. I don't know the answer to all of these questions. We can only speculate, but it is interesting, and we do need a strong leader because we, as America, want to remain the superpower of the world. Okay. Next question. Which individuals have had the most impact upon your life in influencing you to become the wonderful person you are today? I guess this isn't the same person that wrote the question about, am I as dumb in person? Thank you. Obviously my parents. I would say that, I've been very blessed to have grown up in a great family in an incredible place, southeastern North Carolina. And my parents definitely shaped the person that I am today. I grew up in an incredibly loving family, but a family where, my parents had a certain level of respect that should be directed at them, at adults, and given to certain positions. And I still feel that today. And it's something that I'm trying to make sure that my kids as well have that great respect for anyone who's older than they are, and for adults and elderly and the people who really, man, we've been through it and they owe it to us. I feel like there's a lack of that out there in America today. Great work ethic is something else that I think my parents instilled in me and my brother. And I thank them for it every day, because they don't make it easy on any of us with the last name Trump. And I think you do have to have a certain mentality about things to get through it. And I credit my parents fully with that. Aside from my parents, it's funny because I think back to some of my teachers and coaches throughout my life who also had a big impact on forming the person I am today. And I think it's why we should always pay attention to who our children are around and who they're spending a lot of time around, because it certainly influences them, whether they are a good influence or a bad influence. And then obviously I've been with my husband for 15 years. So I think that we have positively impacted one another's lives. And I certainly don't think that my husband would be as successful as he is today, nor would I be as successful as I am today in so many different ways, if not for one another. So thank you, honey. Shout out to Eric Trump. Okay. Final question. Hi, Lara. My name's Eden, and I'm following you from Switzerland. Wow. You're such an inspiration for me as a young woman. Thank you. My question is, will you work in your father-in-law's administration like Ivanka and Jared did if he wins the 2024 elections? I really, really hope he does. Me too. Gosh, we really need that. This would be really amazing and powerful. Thank you. Well, thank you, Eden. Thanks for following us from Switzerland. That's so cool. A place I've never been. And it's on my to-do list. So I'm gonna make sure I write that down and circle it. Will I work in my father-in-law's administration if he wins in 2024? I gotta tell you, I live in the beautiful free state of Florida. Not a lot of swampy folks around here. So it would be a pretty tough sell for me to get me to Washington, D.C., to get me to move my kids to Washington, D.C. My dogs like it down here too. It's a good time down here in Florida. A lot of space, a lot of positivity. That said, I never say never to anything. I think that is something that I have learned throughout my life, is that sometimes the craziest things that you could never imagine will happen, and you got to be there and available for them. So I am open to any and all experiences. I try to keep an open mind to all sorts of different things. It would be a tough sell. I think Ivanka and Jared got a lot of criticism for working in the White House. Don't forget, they never took a paycheck. Don't forget that talk about, getting hit every single day and people constantly looking for ways to attack you. That was certainly them. And they did a lot of really great things. All the women's initiatives were spearheaded thanks to Ivanka. The historic peace agreements in the Middle East, thanks to Jared, and a lot of other great things. So people often overlook that and forget that. So it would be tough, but I would never say never. So stay tuned. And that'll do it for us here. Another great episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. A lot of cool questions. Send us some more. Write them underneath this episode or on any of our different social media channels. You can go to therightView.com, of course, and send us a question that way. Like, share, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. At The Right View, we're very proud of the fact that we are independent. We get to say everything that we think and everything that we feel. We have no woke companies guiding us or telling us what we can and cannot say. We are always going to shoot you straight and give you the facts as we know them. And that's why it's important to support independent outlets like The Right View. My name is Lara Trump, and I think Mike Lindell is a patriot. He is someone who loves this country, is willing to fight for this country. I love MyPillow because not only are MyPillows made in the USA by American workers, but they're great products, and they're so great that not only do I use them in my own bed at night, my children actually requested. My daughter the other day went to the closet and pulled out a MyPillow and said, "This is the pillow that I want to sleep with." And I gotta tell you, she loves it and will have nothing to do with any other pillow. So it's a big hit around our house. My dogs also happen to sleep on MyPillow dog beds. So all around the Trump household, we're big fans. If you go to MyPillow.com today and use promo code Trump, again, promo code Trump, you will not only save money, but you will help us continue this show and other shows like it and help us continue the fight for the future of America. Inflation has impacted all of our lives. I don't think anyone can go to the gas pump or the grocery store without noticing that it is a major factor. And unfortunately, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't seem like it's going down in the way that we would like it to. And one way to protect your money is by investing in precious metals, gold and silver. That's always been a great way to make sure that you keep your money and you keep it safe. When you go to bh-pm.com, use promo code Trump. That way, if you decide you want to invest in gold and silver, you'll save yourself a little bit of money. We live in a time that's very interesting. A lot of us out there feel like a lot of our rights are slipping away. And if you're like I am and you want to have the right to choose whether or not to have a vaccine, how to live your life freely, and you're looking for a great doctor, I've heard amazing things about Dr. Sherwood. He's somebody who you should really check out and check into, and it'll help support this program and keep us going. So go to Sherwood.tv and use promo code Trump. Again, Sherwood.tv and use promo code Trump. You can save yourself some money and help us keep our program going.